This is my story of living with ADHD Bipolar 2. I changed 11 companies and finally I left my job hopping cycle. Now I'm 30, I don't have a job, I'm single, and sometimes I feel like a failure. Hi, I'm Ananya, and this is my story of living with ADHD Bipolar 2 and having absolutely nothing figured out in my personal and professional life. Having no personal, professional or social life when according to the society, we are supposed to have everything figured out by the age of 30. But it hasn't always been like this. Since childhood, I have always been very good at studies and I had big dreams. But I never wanted to grow up and work in front of a computer in a 9-to-5 setup. I've always wanted to do something different, something that I would enjoy, something like wildlife photography or anything that's adventurous and fulfilling to me. But as an Indian middle class kid, I didn't find many options. After high school, I had to choose, and as I was good at science, I enrolled at physics honors. But most of my friends took engineering, so I thought of doing the same. I knew all my adventurous dreams would be shattered, but I wasn't aware of any other options either. Hence, I thought I would try and make the most of the path that I took. And I did. I got good jobs, I worked at big multinational companies for 5 years, but I couldn't stick to any of them. I changed 11 companies and finally, I left my job hopping cycle. Now I'm 30, I don't have a job, I'm single. So basically, I don't have a stable personal and professional life. And sometimes, I feel like a failure. I have never imagined that I would end up like this, but here we are. Now, why did this all happen? Let's rewind to 2016 when I was diagnosed with severe depressive disorder. I was on medication for 4 years. My physical health started declining, let alone my mental health improving. I was struggling to fall asleep every night. I was even finding it difficult to get out of bed every morning. I started gaining weight and I went from 54 kgs to 75 kgs. After changing doctors and being on and off medications for 4 years, I realized that the medications were doing more harm than good. So I stopped taking them. It was also a kind of self-sabotage behavior of mine to abruptly stop the medicines, and it made the situation even worse. So recently I had to consult a doctor again and start medication. It's been working like wonders as of now, except the fact that it's making me gain weight. But more about mental health will be discussed in the next video. Anyway, back to the topic. During that time, I had already started working in the corporate sectors and I found myself quitting jobs every now and then. I tried my hands at various roles, but something always felt off. I felt frustrated, depressed, and stuck. So I kept changing companies, hoping the grass would be greener elsewhere. But it never was. I hopped from one job to another, searching for the one that I would probably enjoy. Each time I left a company, I thought probably this job wasn't right for me. The next one might be. But the cycle kept repeating for 5 years, which left me feeling all lost and confused. I'd switch jobs thinking the next one would be better. From different roles to hybrid and remote setups, I have tried it all. But nothing seemed to click. It took me 5 years to realize that I was stuck in a pattern of joining a new company and then quitting it in no time and then repeating the same. I didn't even have the patience to put down my papers, serve the notice period, and resign properly. The moment I felt like quitting, I would end up quitting the very next day. It's not that I didn't want to continue with them. I tried my best. Every time I joined a new company, I promised myself to stick to it. But I failed to keep up with my promises. And every time I broke my own promise, I lost trust in myself a little more. Every time I thought I had it all figured out, I'd find myself questioning if this was what I truly wanted. I absconded from most of the companies, so I don't even have experience or relevant letters from them. And I realized that I had been ruining my life. I started freaking out when I realized that there was no stability in my life. I watched my friends stick to jobs, get married, have babies, buy houses, and I have absolutely nothing. I started feeling like I was falling behind in life, and the societal pressure to have it all figured out by the age of 30 was weighing me down. I was battling not just the external expectations but also the doubts within myself. I barely had any friends left because I was isolating myself due to depression. And as I started feeling like a failure for not doing a job, I thought everyone else would consider me a failure. So I isolated myself. I also had a breakup. I was at a crossroads and it seemed like everything was falling apart. My mental and physical health conditions were going downhill, and that was the time I decided to quit my job hopping cycle once and for all, as I needed time to self-reflect and understand why I was stuck in this vicious cycle and why my life was such a mess. It was during that time I got to know I have ADHD, which explained my constant job changes and inability to thrive in a typical 9-to-5 setup. And I also stumbled upon this TED Talk, and it felt like she was portraying my story.
Over the next 10 years, I started and quit or was fired from 15 jobs. I ruined my credit. I got married and was divorced within a year. At this point, I was 32, and I had no idea what I was doing with my life.
It gave me goosebumps and tears and made me feel like I wasn't alone. It turns out that some people with ADHD might struggle with maintaining a 9-to-5 job, as they have a tendency to quickly lose interest, leave something unfinished, and jump onto something new, which is also known as shiny object syndrome. But then I thought to myself, while ADHD brings its challenges, it also comes with unique strengths, such as creativity, the ability to hyper-focus on the things that we are passionate about, a willingness to take risks of doing something that is out of box. And it's because of these unique traits that there are a lot of entrepreneurs, athletes, social media influencers, actors, singers who have become successful in what they're doing. So instead of letting my negative traits of ADHD overpower my strengths, I started to focus on the unique strengths that I possess. As they say, ADHD can be a superpower if you can channel it properly. And I believed that. And suddenly, I started buying into this whole idea that I could actually shake things up in my life. And maybe everything happened for a reason. Like, I had to go through this mess in order to figure out what I do not want in my life. I came across a video and I could totally resonate when the guy said, "It wasn't until I got clear on what I didn't want in life that I truly understood what I wanted in life." That was a moment of realization for me. And I realized that I wasn't lost. I was just not where I was supposed to be. Thinking back, I've been trying to stick to jobs for like 5 years, hopping around 11 different companies, but maybe 9-to-5 job is not my cup of tea. I did it because that was the only path I knew we were supposed to follow. Study hard, get good grades, get a job. This is what is referred to as the default path in this book, The Pathless Path by Paul Millard. I stumbled upon this book recently and bought it immediately and completed reading it because I could totally relate to it. However, the author mentioned that this book is not against the default path or the 9-to-5 job, and even the video is not against 9-to-5 job. But it's about the idea that the default path is not the only path available. Now, coming back to my story after quitting my job, I started feeling anxious about the uncertainty of the future, and I had no clue what else I could do, what else I was good at. And it was during that time that I discovered a passion I had never known existed, which is content creation. Generating video ideas that align with my passion and purpose, writing scripts, recording, editing, uploading, making thumbnails. I had no idea that I'd be interested in doing all of this without even getting paid for it. And it was during this break from 9-to-5 jobs that I started consulting with my doctor, started medication again, and also started learning dance, focusing on building healthy habits like working out, eating and sleeping well, reading books, journaling, basically taking care of my physical and mental health while creating something that I absolutely love. And I started this channel to document my journey of mental health, self-improvement, and share all my life experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and my learnings from them. Now I only have 125 subscribers, but I can say that making these videos has completely changed my life for the better. I have even made a video about it. You can check it out if you want to. The link will be somewhere here. So as I mentioned, that people with ADHD can hyper focus on things that they're passionate about and they're creative. So I started channeling my energy into something that I'm passionate about. Yeah, sure, it wasn't a stable job, but it was definitely a step towards a more fulfilling life. It was a turning point that taught me the importance of finding our own purpose, which sometimes might also go beyond societal norms. now I'm 30 and my life may not fit the traditional mold of how life is supposed to be by 30. I may not have a stable job, a happily married life, or a bustling social circle, and my life may not conform to the norm of the age of 30. Yeah, it's scary sometimes, but I have come to see that it's okay. There are no predetermined time limit for anything in life. Life is a journey. I love what Paul wrote in this book. I found myself in rooms surrounded by business leaders and didn't quite fit in. I was in the wrong rooms, asking the wrong questions about how to live. I had been on a path that wasn't mine, and to find a new way forward, I would need to step into the unknown, which is the pathless path, an alternative to the default path. It's an embrace of uncertainty and discomfort. He also mentioned that most people, including myself, have a deep desire to work on things that matter to them and bring forth what is inside them. It is only when we cling to the logic of the default path that we fail to see the possibilities for making that happen. I also loved what he wrote about having a support system. He said many people find it difficult to create change in their lives because they lack someone that believes in them. And he continues, I have my parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, teachers, and managers who believe in me. Their support gives me an advantage, and because of this, nothing motivates me more than trying to be that person for others. Helping people live courageously so that they can thrive is one of the most important things in the world. His words struck with me deeply and gave me the comfort that I needed at this time of uncertainty. But hey, just like Paul, I do have a support system, my mom and dad. They believe in me more than I believe in myself. So, as Paul said, I'd like to be that person for others, and that's the very reason I'm making these videos. So, if you have been watching this video until now, then first of all, thank you. This video is very close to my heart, and I just want to say, if you find yourself in a similar situation with no stability or certainty in professional and personal life, with mental health struggles, with breakups, isolation, societal pressures, and the list goes on, when nothing seems to go right, just remember that it's all right and you are not alone. I know it sounds cliche, but it's comforting and true. Life can be a winding road full of unexpected turns. What truly matters is how you navigate it and the lessons you learn along the way. So yeah, this is all I wanted to talk about. It's all very personal and it took me so long to gather enough courage to make this video. But I just hope it helps any one of you who's going through something similar. If you can relate to my story or if you're facing your own challenges, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let's inspire and support each other. And always remember, it's never too late to start anew, to discover your passion, to build a life that is uniquely yours. If you have found this video helpful, then give it a like, share it with your friends, comment and let me know your story. Also, consider subscribing to the channel where I talk about mental health, self-improvement, books, and my own life experiences and lessons from those experiences. That's a wrap. I'll see you in the next video. This is Ananya signing off with a big virtual high five. Keep shining, keep striving. Love you.